Okay, so we're back once again into our example that we were doing here where we were adding now a movie. So we've added a movie, we're able to find a movie. So we just really made this a good program overall to find things and add quickly. I'm not going to go over remove right now. You guys can do that on your own. I just want to show you something. One thing that you can add to function is something called a return value. Notice that what these are doing is updating things that are already existing, or at least console logging them. So I console log no movie here because obviously the fog's not in here, and I am just adding this and then console logging movies, or I was and I deleted it. But so say we wanted to actually get something out of these functions. Right now we're not getting anything. We're just doing logic. So we're adding movie, we're finding a movie. That's all we're doing. So let's say we want to actually return something. So we do function once again, and we're going to do number movies. So basically what this function is going to do is return the number of movies that are in the array. So say the user wants to be able to always see how much is in an inventory. So basically, once he calls this within this function here, it will just appear. So we're going to do var numbers. Actually, let's make this more specific. We'll do total equals movies dot length. Remember we went over the length function. Now once again, with the scope that we previously went over in other assignments, notice that I didn't have to pass in movies here. Now I could have done this. And then when I call it down here, I would need to pass in movies in the title, just like I did here. That's going to throw an error. I can take that out. Okay. And so yeah. But once again, it's declared in the global space, so I don't need to do that if I don't want to. Or if I think that it's best for the program to have it, I can. So now we have this thing that's always going to grab the length of movies, right? So let's console log out total so we can go ahead and see that it's actually working. So we're going to console log this out. Oops, I already did. Oh no. Screwed up. So we're going to call the function. Because remember, the function is kind of dormant until you call it in the global space. So we're calling it here. And we're going to go rerun it. Notice that it returns 6. So the only problem with this now is this total only exists within this function. Even after we run it and we run total, bam, total is not defined because it's only defined in this specific space right here. So this total only exists within these numbers. What happens if we want it to exist outside and we wanted the user to be able to get the total number of movies and then be able to do something with it? Well, that's absolutely possible, and that is with the power of, let me get rid of this before I forget. That is with the power of the return statement. Notice that it went to a different color. It's a keyword. So we want to return total. So now if we come down here and we set a variable equal to this function, bam, total. Actually, let me do this differently so you can see it perfectly. They can be named the same because this will not interfere with this name because of with scope. Now if I console log total movies, bam. You see that? So line 58, total movies. So now I've made this a variable that I can now play with. Say the user wanted to find out how much money he would have after he sold all the total movies. So he could sell all the movies for he could sell all the movies for $10. Let's see. $5 is more realistic. So he wants to figure out how much he's worth. $30. So he's worth $30. Now, I couldn't have done that if I didn't have this return statement, because it doesn't allow me to have access to this total, because I have to return that variable or that value and then put it to another value and then manipulate it. So that's a very important thing of returns. Now, of course, you've noticed in these two functions there are no returns. That's perfectly fine and normal. Some functions won't have a return statements and others will. It's just basically what you need that function to do. In this add movie, we didn't need to return because it just updated the movie. In this one, we didn't need it to return because all it did was just tell us if it was in there or not. So basically, it's your preference as a programmer to figure out if you need a return statement or not. And so basically, that is how a return statement works. All right?